Hello everyone. Welcome back everyone to the stream. Currently, I'm building a banking app using a tutorial of entering his YouTube channel. I think this is his from the JavaScript mastery for the tutorial I'm following. And let me show you the progress that I have made till now. Mhm. This is the progress that I made till now. Let's get 2001, 2001. So we have made the both sidebar here and there, and currently I'm trying to implement this sign in functionality. We have done the sign up page, sign in page, and sign up page into all the areas there. And currently I'm building out the sign in functionality, right? Yeah. Currently we are building sign up function that can be used here. So we are distributed for these user data. Then we are creating an account. Okay, instructor. Then catch and the okay to the account from create admin. Yeah. Okay. Now user account. We have to use okay. And create method where we have to pass it parameter ID that is imported from app right. We are using app right off here. And creating a unique ID, your password, email, and password, and the name. We are on the instruction for so we can do this string template. We can the first name and the last name here. So we are creating a new user here, and then we have to session, create a session with email and password. Then we are logging in with email and password. Creating the user, then uh, then set keys dot set method and using the key at right session session dot secret restore session secret and default is made me HTTP to same site straight. I'm not sure maybe I'm doing this search secure to and then we are entering the parse string and new user. Oh, okay, let's go a picture for this ChatGPT. Maybe maybe just do it. So then you have to down the code step by cookies is implied in the cookie which designed to the something. The key argument is this is the name of the cookie that we set. You got it. And this is the value this term is the first secret into and is the secret and do all that. The first parameter might be a passing option arguments are so that it will be a specific manner. The specific argument output is the key access it will be unlock the entire application. Okay. This ensure that the cookie is available on the route in the application. Actually, we will need to make the cookie inaccessible to JavaScript in the browser. Okay, this is very critical in terms of scripting from reading sensitive information storing the cookie. Same side strict limit the sending of cookie to only first party requests coming from the same audio service and to cross out. Okay, secure to edge the cookie is speakers that also so these are the security that you are passing. Let's keep it. Let's create a function. We can uh, get log. Log. So this is our order. I'm using the upright authentication to sign in. So I'm using this to get the login user. So we are creating a session plan, then we are looking certainly let's do this. Let's use media prepare this parse prepare okay. It is an error and it is error that is Okay. Now let's create a profile to sign up about. Let's create a function log file and we'll find catch statement. So we will create insertion and we'll delete the cookies. Okay. I'm getting order in. Yeah. Let's go to the auth form. We sign up this sign. So let's import the sign up from to India class and repeat after. Just kidding. Mhm. Let's just scroll down. Yes, yes. It is very now. Let's try to sign up. First name, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one, this time, okay. I think I have here and yes, check and the database authentication. This is not. It should have a user, right? Name, email, phone number, the password, email, maybe in the database. Hmm, there's no in the authentication. And then so you have to go to login, sign up, and then see you have to have attention. In this sign I think let's try to sign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we are doing good. We are doing this. Um, now I have to the main page of the okay, you have to pass that is the sorry, that login user, that login user, right? And then I'll be getting the login user as well. And the file. Illustration. Okay, so now user 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 Okay, we have done that much. Time for some tutorial. I will be right back.
account before, you can just add /onboarding to your URL and it should re-navigate you here. Now let's click start under install Sentry. Let's choose Next.js and configure SDK. It'll give us a special command which we can use to spin up Sentry. So let's copy it. Once you register, you should be able to see something like this. And if you have created your account before, you can just add /onboarding to your URL and it should re-navigate you here. Now let's click start under install Sentry. Let's choose Next.js and configure SDK. It'll give us a special command which we can use to spin up Sentry. So let's copy it. And back within our application, we can paste it. Press enter and press Y to install the Sentry wizard. He's going to ask us a couple of questions. So let's say yes. First of all, do you want to self-host or use Sentry SaaS? We're going to use Sentry IO. Do you already have a Sentry account? Well, that's a yes. It will just log you in through your browser. You can select your Sentry project, and you can select this JavaScript Next.js project, which was created for you by Sentry when you ran this wizard. It's going to install the necessary npm packages. It's going to ask us if we want to route Sentry requests in the browser through our Next.js server to avoid ad blockers. For this one, we can just select the default no for now. Then we can let Sentry create an example page. We will be using CI/CD tools like GitHub, or in this case, Vercel. And finally, yes, continue. Great. Well, that has been simple. We have successfully set up Sentry for our project. Now, let me show you the files that Sentry has automatically generated for you, starting with sentry.server.config. This initializes Sentry on the server. It has the traces sample rate, allowing you to track how many users visit your web. Great. Tools like GitHub, or in this case, Vercel. Then we can let Sentry through our Next.js server to avoid ad blockers. For this one, we can just select the default no for now. Then we can let Sentry create an example page. We will be using CI/CD tools like GitHub, or in this case, Vercel. And finally, yes, continue. Great. Well, that has been simple. We have successfully set up Sentry for our project. Now, let me show you the files that Sentry has automatically generated for you, starting with sentry.server.config. This initializes Sentry on the server. It has the traces sample rate, allowing you to track how many users visit your website, and you can even modify some additional flags. Similarly, we have that for the edge network, and also for the client side. All of these files have been generated for you, as well as the next config has been modified to include your organization and project within Sentry. So if you want to fully understand what is happening within these files, you can go here, Command or Option click the docs, and then if you're feeling bold, you can ask a bot. And typically these AI bots are not that intelligent, let me put it that way, but I've tested Sentry bot a bit and it answers all the questions incredibly well. So for example, if I copy traces sample rate 1 and ask it, what does traces sample rate 1 do, and paste it, let's see how good it is. There we go. It says that the traces sample rate 1 configuration sets the percentage chance a given transaction will be sent to Sentry 100%. This means that all transactions created in the app will be sent to Sentry for monitoring and tracking. 1 represents 100% probability. Okay, this is a great response. And another cool thing Sentry has prepared for us is right here at the top under App, Sentry Example Page, and then here we have a page that says get started by sending us a sample error. So they invite you to break your application on purpose. How bold of them. So this page is under Sentry example page, and since you're a Next.js expert, you know how to reach this endpoint. You just have to go to localhost 3000 and go to Sentry example page, press enter, and here is that sneaky button, throw an error. There we go. go, the error has been thrown, Sentry example frontend error. You can think of this as a typical error message that your user would get while they carelessly use your application. You know that feeling when you develop it for hours, you test it, and everything works, but then a user comes and breaks it in a second. Well, this is for cases just like that. So now that we threw that error, let's go back to the onboarding, and at the bottom, you should be able to see error received. Take me to my error. And would you look at that? Unhandled error, Sentry example API route. We can see when it has happened. We can see where in the code that originated. And this little onboarding also tells us how bad it is, find problematic releases, and more stuff. But what I want to know is exactly which user broke that, and we can see the user's Node version, macOS version, and even the browser and more information on it. And now, let's see what other information can we get out of this report. First of all, I want to go to replays. And right here, we have a single replay coming from a single error. So let's click it and check this out. We can start playing this video, and we can see exactly what the user was doing on the screen when the error happened. We can see their cursor, how they were moving it, and what they were doing. Here, they clicked it, and they broke it. But as you can see, there's dots instead of actual characters, so everything is completely secure, which matters a lot for banking applications. Also, you you can see exactly which element they clicked on, as well as the entire console they were seeing at that time, as well as all the networks, errors, and more. I mean, how cool is that? Imagine not having to speak with your customers and try to debug the errors with them, but rather being alerted immediately their app breaks, and then being able to fix it immediately after. And for the final time, let's go through the sign up process because I want to show you something cool. I'm going to use a John Doe as an example. I'm going to do a very cool address. In a city, let's do Los Angeles, and let's do LA with a postcode of 12345. Date of birth can be some random numbers. Social security numbers can also be random. Email is going to be very secure email at gmail.com, and we can enter some hard password. And now I want to, first of all, remember this so I can later on sign in, and then I want to sign up. If I do that, I'll be redirected to the link account, and I can quickly go over to my homepage. Welcome, John Doe. We can see the total current balance, we can see the very secure email, and even some card details right here. And of course, we can also move through different pages. And even though there's no important data right now, while our user was registering, a lot of important data was shared. So now, let's go back over to Sentry and see if we already have a replay. It doesn't show up directly on the replays page because I think only the ones that have dead clicks or rage clicks or errors show up here. But rather, let's explore what else we have on Sentry, and we can find it along the way. Under queries, there's not a lot of data now. Under requests, we can see all the requests our users have made on localhost, Sentry example page, the average duration, time spent, and more. Under web vitals, it's slowly starting to load all of the most important web vitals. Right now, they're not too good, so we can fix that later on. But if we go to discover, I think, we can see almost everything about our application. We can see all the events that happened in the latest interval. We can merge them by by total daily, and even change the count by unique users. So we can see exactly how many unique users have visited our website. Right now it is 1, just me. And here we can then dive deeper into each one of these transactions. So here we have my banks, we have the layout. Let's open up the sign up page right here, or the sign up transaction. And here we can see what our user has been doing on that page ever since they transitioned from the error page to sign in and then sign up. And here they have been inputting all of their data. And if we make it a bit larger, you should be able to see exactly what is happening. There we go. You can see how a user is slowly typing these things in, but we on the monitoring side cannot see anything. The only thing we get are the actual errors that happens and user navigations that allow us to debug the page. Wonderful. This is the power of Sentry. Of course, there's so much more stuff like the user feedbacks where you can create a form through which a user can give you feedback. We also have metrics where you can track everything that is important for your application, such as the average transaction duration. And you can also have custom dashboards allowing you to track the most important metrics of your site, like web vitals, as well as how many errors you have by browser in percentage or by a specific user. And in the general tab, you can even track errors by country, errors by browser, issues assigned to you and your team. You can track a lot of stuff, and you can of course fully customize that dashboard and track whatever you want to track. Errors, crash rates, even miserable users who have the worst experience out there. You can track it all and fix it all. That's how Sentry works. We'll revisit Sentry later on once we deploy our application so we can continue monitoring it for errors. But for now, let's go back to our application and let's delete this Sentry example page and the global error as we don't need them anymore. Now we can focus on our next task, and that is, finally, integration with our banking system of choice, Plate. Before we do that, let's make sure to push everything we have committed so far, and let's give it a proper name. Here we have fully initialized AppWrite, Sentry, and we have also completed the auth layout. So we can say implement, auth, AppWrite, and Sentry. And I'm gonna do a commit and sync the changes. Great. With that said, let's start working on what you came to this video for in the first place, implementing the banking functionality. To develop banking functionalities within our application, we'll use Plate. Now, you may wonder, what the heck is Plate? Well, Plate is like a middleman between apps and banks. It helps us connect the two securely. And here's why you might want to use it as a developer. It gives us a simple way to connect our apps to thousands of different banks. It makes sure that data that we send between the app and the bank is secured, so we don't have to handle the sensitive stuff. And it follows all the bank's regulations and rules, so we don't have to. In short, while it might seem like a good idea to connect directly to banks, Plate makes everything easier and safer for all of us. It lets us focus on developing our app without having to stress about the details of bank connections and laws. So click the link down in the description to follow along, and then click this Get Started button on top right. It will lead you to a quick onboarding where you can say that you're a developer, enter your your email address, enter your full name, company name, and if you don't have a company, feel free to put JSM, JS Mastery, or something like that. Choose your country and password and create your account. Once you do, you'll be redirected to the Blade dashboard. Here we can test Blade products, and specifically, we'll be working on the integration of connecting multiple bank accounts to our application. And of course, we'll start in the sandbox environment. So let's close this, go to your email and verify it. And for now, we don't even have to request the production access as we'll be working on the development environment. And directly in the dashboard, you can click Quick Start. I would highly recommend that you watch this 3-minute long video as it will explain how we'll be using Plaid throughout our application. It is developer focused and it basically explains how we'll create a sandbox environment and then use client IDs and secrets to connect Plaid to our server-side application and then through Plaid connect different bank accounts. So it's a good watch. With that said, we can go back, and back in the dashboard, we can expand our developers tab on the left side and go under keys. Here you can see our client ID, you can copy it. Back in our Visual Studio Code, we can go to our environment variables and we can add it under Plaid client ID. You can repeat the procedure with secrets, so copy it and paste it here. And same thing for sandbox. So we have development and sandbox. In this case, we just want to use the sandbox, so you don't need a secret for development at all. Under Plaid env, we can say sandbox, as that's the one we're using. And under Plaid products, we can say auth, comma, transactions, comma, identity. And under Plaid country codes, we can say US and CA, the United States and Canada. Again, this is just a test environment, but it should work no matter where in the world you are. Now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. And now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. Back in our terminal, we can run npm install react-plaid-link. This will allow us to link our bank accounts. Code, they develop with secrets. You can go back to this environment throughout as we'll be working on the development environment. And directly in the dashboard, you can click Quick Start. I would highly recommend that you watch this 3-minute long video as it will explain how we'll be using Plaid throughout our application. It is developer focused and it basically explains how we'll create a sandbox environment and then use client IDs and secrets to connect Plaid to our server-side application and then through Plaid connect different bank accounts. So it's a good watch. With that said, we can go back, and back in the dashboard, we can expand our developers tab on the left side and go under keys. Here, you can see our client ID. You can expand our developers tab on the left side and go under keys. Here, you can see our client ID. You can copy it. Back in our Visual Studio Code, we can go to our environment variables and we can add it under Plaid client ID. You can repeat the procedure with secrets, so copy it and paste it here. And same thing for sandbox. So we have development and sandbox. In this case, we just want to use the sandbox. So you don't need a secret for development at all. Under plate env, we can say sandbox, as that's the one we're using. And under plate products, we can say auth, comma, transactions, comma, identity. And under plate country codes, we can say US and CA, the United States and Canada. Again, this is just a test environment, but it should work no matter where in the world you are. Now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. And now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. Back in our terminal, we can run npm install. This is just a test environment, but it should work no matter where in the world you are. Now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. And now that we have the keys, we can start with the integration. Back in our terminal, we can run npm install react-played-link. This will allow us to link our bank accounts. Great, the package got installed and we can dive right into the code. We can start with the configuration by going over to lib and creating a new file called played.ts. Within here, we'll need to set up a new Played configuration. And alongside installing React Played link, we also need to install the general Played package by running npm install Played. Now we can import some things from Played, such as configuration, Played API, and Played environments. And that's coming from Played. Once we have that, we can initialize our configuration and make it equal to a new instance of a configuration class, which we call, and we can pass some params, such as the base path equal to Played environments dot sandbox and base options. That's an